Good evening. If we could all rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Robertson, would you please call the roll?
I would be happy to call the roll, Mr. Supervisor. Supervisor Bennett.
Here.
Myself, of course, I'm here. Treasurer Yancho.
Here.
Trustee Fike.
Here.
Trustee Hugo.
Here.
Trustee White.
Here.
6 members present, a quorum.
Thank you. And now I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So move. Support.
Motion by Ms. Hugo, supported by Mr. Yancho.
Motion by Hugo, supported by Yancho on the agenda. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Myself, yes. 6-0. Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to take a moment. We have a very special recognition. We'd like to take a few minutes to recognize an exceptional individual in Grand Blanc Township here, as well as being recognized across the state of Michigan. Dr. Mary Marshall, a family physician from Grand Blanc, Michigan, was named the 2025 Michigan Family Physician of the Year by the Michigan Academy of Family Physicians in recognition of her dedication, patient-centered care, and advocacy, having previously served as the MAFP president, Michigan Academy of Family Physicians president, and a strong advocate for solo practices and comprehensive care. I just want to read a little bit about Dr. Mary Marshall. Dr. Marshall acknowledges that her path to becoming a family physician was unconventional. After a successful career as a registered nurse, she made the decision to go to medical school. Quote, "The cardiologist specialist who inspired me to pursue a career as a family physician understood the value of primary care and never stopped teaching that. She graduated from Michigan State University College of Human Medicine in 1997. She describes her class as an amazing mix of young learners benefiting from the experience of older students, the older students learning a great deal from their enthusiastic younger colleagues. After completing residency at Genesis Regional Medical Center in 2000, Dr. Marshall opened a private solo practice in Fenton, which she then moved to Grand Blanc in 2004. Soon thereafter, she joined the MAFP, seeking the camaraderie and support she experienced as a nurse and physician in training. Dr. Marshall said that she found that and much more as Michigan Academy of Family Physicians. The people I have met here have enhanced my life and ignited a passion for volunteerism that I really wasn't expecting. To all new and longtime members, I say get involved and you will feel the power we have when we're all moving the same direction toward goals, toward common goals. Among the overachieving goals that Dr. Marshall feels are paramount are empowering family physicians to advocate for themselves and their patients, whether that be fine-tuning sustainable opioid prescribing laws that protect patients or reducing administrative burdens that pull family physicians from people who need their care. She contends that for too long, family doctors have been the silent, nice guys at the table, and it's time to raise our voices and demand a seat at the head table. Our power lies in education and experience and providing comprehensive care with evidence-based medicine more economically, efficiently, effectively than anyone else or any healthcare system. Throughout her healthcare career spanning 40 years, Dr. Marshall has been active outside her practice and still resides in Grand Blanc. She is a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Family Medicine at Michigan State University College of Human Medicine and an active member of the American Medical Association, Michigan State Medical Society, Genesee County Medical Society, and the AAFP, MAFP. Her newest endeavor is establishing Trinity Med PLLC, which is her consulting firm. Currently, she is the local medical director of, Aledade in Michigan. As a longtime Academy member, Dr. Marshall served as the Michigan Association of Physicians in Michigan. Let's see here, from 2018 to 2019, and then 2 terms as president from 2019 to 2021. and she earned the AAFP degree of Fellow in 2019. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Marshall. We're going to have her come up front here. So we appreciate all that you do for our community. We know that healthcare is a very challenging field right now, and hopefully individuals like you can help us to figure out how we make this whole system work for everybody, right? So, do you have anything to say, Doctor?
I'd like to thank my family, first of all, and my friend Heather, the office manager. Without them, I couldn't do. That was pretty exhausting, there. Without them. And a special thank you to Senator Bruce Johnson, who couldn't be here today. My journey in advocacy started with one day, actually, also Mr. Robertson, on advocacy, just going to their offices and saying, this is what we need. So what I say to everyone is, don't be silent, take the time, and talk to your representatives and senators. It makes a difference. Sometimes you have to do it a few times, but they listen.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I saw our building inspector come in, and I'm thinking, there's nothing on the agenda with regard to building inspection this evening. And so I said, Ted, what brings you to our meeting tonight? This is my sister. Oh my gosh, what a small world. So it's a family thing too, but congratulations. And I told the family too, if you guys don't want to stick around for the rest of the meeting, feel free to go out in the lobby and hang out, whatever. And we know that not everybody's interested in everything that we're going to talk about tonight. So good night and congratulations to all of you. With that, we are going to move to public comments, and first on the list we have Ms. Sue Hendricks. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sue Hendricks, policy representative of Michigan, and I'm just here because of my concern about the use of flock cameras in our community. There have been starting to be huge abuses with the system, tracking people, and being involved with DHS and ICE, tracking people through our communities, losing privacy and other abuses that are coming up. The flock people themselves are pretending that they're not sharing things, except that it turns out that they are. And so I think that the community, our board here, community needs to examine how our data is being shared from our flock cameras in the community, whether we even still want them, since a lot of cities and townships are actually stopping their contracts because of this. I understand it's a law enforcement tool, except that this data is being fed and shared throughout networks all over, and it's been used to track women. It's been used to track, quote unquote suspicious travel plans, but what does that even mean? I think that this is a real problem in invasion of privacy, and I'm not really sure that the township should be doing it.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hendricks. Dr. Hendricks. I didn't see that on your sheet, so I apologize. That's all right. Okay. With that, Casey Barron. Esquire Casey Barron, how's that? If you can point the microphone too at you rather than on the side there, that works a little bit better that way. Sure.
Good evening, Supervisor Bennett and members of the Township Board. Very nice to be here today, and I'm glad I get this opportunity to speak to you. I'm running for 67-4 District Court. As many of you know, Judge McCabe is retiring after quite a long time on the bench, and I wish to fill that spot. You may remember I ran a couple years ago when Judge Otet retired as well. I bring bring to my candidacy 25 years of experience as an attorney and 22 years in Genesee County. We live in the Fenton area. My wife and I, she's also an attorney. She works for Genesee County as an assistant prosecutor. And we've been in the community, and we stayed here, we grew our roots here, raised our children here because we love this community and we love the people here. And since I've been practicing here for 22 plus years, I've grown my practice and I've been involved in the community in many different capacities. I'm a member of the zoning board in Fenton Township. I've been on the Southern Lakes Park and Rec Board in the local area, which doesn't extend up this way, but covers Fenton and Linden and Argentine Township. I've been involved in coaching debate. I think some people on this board helped out with that long ago. Also coach basketball. I'm an MHSAA basketball official. Coach regularly varsity games in the area. And my wife and I are involved in our church, and we like to stay involved. I think it's very important to be involved in the community and give service back to the community. I'm a veteran. I graduated from West Point and followed up on my service with going to law school. And I think it's important to give your service back to the community with your time and talent. And I believe I'm best suited to do that for this job. Like I said, I have 25 years of experience, but it's not just experience generally in the law. I've been practicing in Genesee County courts all of that time. Even before we moved to this area, I was practicing in Genesee County courts. And along the way, I believe I've added it up. In my estimation, I believe that I have more actual experience in Judge McCabe's specific courtroom than all of my opponents combined. And I've done that purposefully because I like working in the district court. I also like being in general.
30 seconds.
So I'd ask you to consider me for your vote and your support, and I appreciate it, your opportunity to speak tonight. And I'll be out on the campaign trail. I have my petitions here tonight if someone would like to sign, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further public comment, we will close public comment and move to our public hearing. And so the board will hold a public hearing to create the tax roll for Village Green Special Assessment District. This is a special assessment district that has been worked on for years, and I got to take my hat off to the individuals that helped make it happen. Mr. Breslin here, who's here, Scott. But it's a lot of work to get those signatures, especially for one that's as costly as this one will be, but we appreciate it because it benefits the entire township. While our board doesn't take a position on those, personally, I appreciate it just because I think it helps the entire township when all our neighborhoods, the roads are good. So it's unfortunate that county and state don't have the funds to fund subdivision streets, but we appreciate you taking that on. With that, Mr. Limina?
This is the opportunity to open up the public hearing and give the board the opportunity to hear from residents that are impacted by the Village Green Special Assessment District. It went back to September 30th of 2025. The board created the Special Assessment District after the residents submitted petitions with 53.59% of signatures in favor of the road improvements. So before you, a little bit later on the agenda, will be the resolution that would accept that proposed SAD and create the tax roll for the district. So at this point, Mr. Supervisor, if you want to open up the public hearing and any interested parties could approach and provide comments.
Okay, we will open.
Time, Mr. Supervisor, 6:14 PM.
Thank you. So we will open it for public comment. If somebody could do me a favor and just push that door back open out there, it locks and people can't get back in. So with that, we will open the floor, the microphone for anybody who wishes to make public comment with regard to this public hearing for the Special Assessment District for Village Green. Anybody care to speak for or against? Please come up, tell us your name, address, and
My name is Jeremy Halligan. I live at 5458 Provincial Road. I'm concerned about...
Jeremy?
Yes.
Your last name again, forgive me?
Halligan.
Okay, thank you.
I'm concerned about the way this is set up. It doesn't seem to be set up equitably. There's 149 parcels in here, and there's certain parcels that get different assessments, which doesn't seem equitable. There's also the fact that the last time I heard about this special assessment, that the cul-de-sacs weren't going to get the same services that Territorial was going to get, and yet we have to pay the same amount of money. So that's my objection.
okay.
Okay?
We'll address any comments at the end here. Thank you. Anybody else have any comments with regard to the special assessment district? Any other comments?
I have some emails.
Okay, you have a couple of emails. I don't know that we want to read the whole thing, do we?
No, but I would note for the record, the objections.
Okay,
We have an objection from Dr. John McElduff.
address?
Let me see here, I've got the email here, but I don't know that I have the specific.
Are these individuals that had previously signed the petition, or no?
No, they are not.
Okay, then I guess probably the address, you can pass that along to your deputy.
Okay. Excuse me, 5457 Peppermill.
Okay,
All right. We have an objection from a Sean Mullenix
okay,
and also Bernadine Sachs of 8297 Brittany Hill in Grand Blanc. And another objection from Laura Mullenix, presumably same family. Bear with me. Mr. Scott Hans, Hans, indicating his objections.
give his
as well.
address.
Let's see, I do not have I don't see it here
Okay.
in the email, but I want to note this for the record.
I would guess Ms. Henry knows whether or not this would affect the percentage or not.
Well, it's already been approved, so this is just setting the tax rate.
Okay,
Yeah, it preserves their appeal rights,
okay.
legal rights going forward.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, I believe that's all I have, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay, we'll close public comment. I don't know, Mr. Lehman, or I don't know, Mr. Boggs want to address the equity issue in terms of that, not, or,
Yeah, and actually, that was looked at over the years, and where I think the equity issue, where it comes in different, has to do with those condos, the condos that are right in the beginning of when you come off of Territorial, off of Saginaw. And I'll let Attorney Chubb speak to that if you would like.
Sure. Yeah, so all of these special assessment districts are done under Act 188 of 1954, and it's very specific about the manner in which we have to provide for the assessments. And so in a circumstance where there are, for example, that's not the actual case here, but if there are 10 condos on one parcel, the amount would be divided by 10 and given to each, pro rata to each of the 10 members or condos on that parcel. And that's why it does look like there's some inequity, but it's just the numbers are different based upon the fact that there are multiple residences on one parcel, and that's dictated by Act 188.
all right, any questions or concerns from the board? Okay. We will move on the agenda then, and I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, motion by Mr. Yancho, supported by Mr. Fike.
Motion by Yancho, supported by Fike on the consent agenda. Trustee White,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho,
Yes.
Trustee Hugo,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett,
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Now we will have a business licensing update. Is Mr. Kimmer? Oh, okay, there you are. Mr. Kimmer, our Assistant Superintendent, was going to give us an update on our business licensing program.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
So as you know, the business licensing ordinance went into effect January 1st of 2026. Sometime towards the middle of December, we sent out approximately 800 notices, letters, applications to some of the businesses that we knew of here in the township. To date, we have received about 80 of those applications back, either paper form or through the online application system. It's going pretty well so far, working with the clerk's department to get those applications entered into the system. The main things that we're collecting out of this, the type of data that we're collecting is 24-hour emergency contact information. We have the system automatically programmed to take that information from the application and send that over to the dispatchers at the police department so that they can enter that into their database so they have a real-time access for the 24-hour contact. We also are collecting lists of hazardous materials that a business may have and the location of where they are in the building. That list is then reviewed by Fire Marshal Keller. He goes in, reviews that, knows where those hazardous materials are, and he's also scheduling fire safety inspections. These are done based on what type of occupancy class the business is. It may be annually, biannually, triannually. So he's going in and scheduling those inspections and keeping track of that. One little thing we're working on right now, the online payment system isn't quite up and running yet. We're expecting that to be completed in a couple of weeks. So right now, we just are taking cash or check to pay those invoices. But so far, so good up to this point.
Yes, Mr. Fike?
What happens if somebody ignores the letter?
If they ignore the letter, the ordinance does state that we could shut the business down, pull the occupancy permit if needed. We realize this first year, getting all of these businesses on board, getting notifications out there, we may be a little lenient this first year to collect all that data. But there are some provisions in there for refusal, yep.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll come to that.
I hope not.
It's an effort actually to try and make sure that when we have, whether it's a break-in, fire,
Sure.
water leak, whatever it might be, that we know how to get in a hold of the owner or whoever's responsible for that building.
And we can take that business contact list, utilize that, publish that out onto our website for a directory. We can also, utilize that for our community engagement team to reach out to businesses. There's a number of different uses.
There's a multitude of reasons for it. Mr. Yancho?
Does the database list things such as the utility shutoffs, the electrical shutoff, gas shutoff, so fire department or other?
Currently, we don't have that in the system, but that would be a good item that we could probably explore and add to it so that they do have that information readily available. This system isn't necessarily going to replace the system that the fire department already has to schedule inspections or that the police department already utilizes, but this will work kind of as a backup and in conjunction. But
Kind of a first step to getting, this in place. So,
absolutely.
hopefully, eventually, we could even have blueprints available to police and fire. So when there's a situation coming up, we can punch in the business name and we can have a layout of what's going on in that facility. So I know that'd be valuable to both police and fire to have a good idea of what the layout is of that building before they have to go in and try and figure it out. But we're putting those plans online, and eventually all the information will converge, right? But this is kind of a first step of getting our businesses, but it also helps us be notified when there's a change of use of a building, which, that happens occasionally too, where a building has changed use and we have no idea that it's this type of business instead of what we've thought all along.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are cases where that's happened. There's cases where, some remodeling has taken place in a business that we didn't know about, that the building department would definitely want to know about. REU audits for DPW. There's a multitude of reasons why we're collecting this information.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Kimmer? Okay. Well, our next item is regarding our Parks and Recreation millage. And we had placed a 1 mil ask on the ballot this past year. And while the numbers for that particular election or voting day were not real stellar, the effort for the 1 mil did not pass. And so right now we have a 1/4 mil. Is quarter or half?
Quarter.
Quarter, yeah.
Expired.
Yeah, it's expiring, and we were considering possibly either renewing that quarter. If we didn't renew it and the public says no, then, some of the things, we have probably $1 million renovation going out there this summer, right, Mr. Lemina, with grant money that we have, but we also have matching funds. And, without matching funds, there's no grants. Basically, that 1/4 mil helps us to keep the park up to date. We're not going to build any huge amphitheater or anything like this with that 1/4 mil, but it does help us to maintain what we have already. Mr. Kimmer?
You want to
Sure.
switch the input
Okay.
up here on this one?
Oh, okay. That's strange that the other two,
I turned those on earlier. They must time out after a while.
they'll come back on. That's your computer, because I don't have mine on there.
That was not mine.
I think it's this computer.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know, that one,
All right, we'll work off the side monitors. Everybody see?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I just want to take a couple minutes. As Supervisor Bennett said, the Parks and Recreation millage, the current one that was in place did expire December 31st of 2025. So we are currently operating without an approved millage by the voters for the Parks and Recreation Department. So I wanted to take a look at what did we complete with this previous 10-year millage. You guys probably have seen this presentation. A lot of the slides are going to be the same, but I've just changed out some numbers with updated data. So over the previous 10 years, that millage brought in approximately $3 million. A lot of that was spent on capital improvements at the park. It included a new playground with accessible features, security camera systems in the park, new equipment. We changed out numerous mowers and Kubotas and various equipment out there at the park. We installed new fences around the backstop areas of 8 softball fields, repairs to the roller hockey basketball court. We resurfaced 9 of those softball fields during this 10-year period. We've added accessible pathways, new bleachers, and as Supervisor Bennett spoke to, this summer we are anticipating a major project of realigning the parking lot and rehabilitating the South Pavilion. That was the Land and Water Conservation Grant. In fact, that project the bid announcement was just released today, so it looks like we should be moving forward this summer, depending on what those bid results are. So we have made significant improvements out there in the last 10 years with that approximate $3 million that the existing millage pulled in. So what are the options for 2026? What are we looking at? Ideally, I think we'd like to look at a 10-year millage again. What that allows us to do is build out our capital improvement plan. If it's a fairly short millage, it's a little more difficult to build out that long-term plan and know exactly where those funds are going, where our matching grant funds can be allocated towards. So I think a 10-year millage is right about that correct number. And then election-wise, what ballot do we want to look to have that on this year? Are we looking for May, August, or November? I've put in the deadlines there of when that ballot language would have to be filed. So if we were looking at May, the ballot language would have to be filed by February 10th. That would leave us one more board meeting on February 3rd to approve any ballot language, should we want to put it on the May ballot. And then what dollar amount do we want to look at? Obviously, we put that out there at a full mill last year. The voters have decided on that, and we've come back, we've scaled back some things. So do we want to look at a half mill or basically a quarter mill again, as what we had before? Some items to consider on the next ballot. If we were to put it on the May ballot, that is a special election. And if we were to have the millage language on the May ballot, we would be responsible for picking up the entire cost of the election. August 2026, primary election. November 2026, gubernatorial election. Voter turnout is a lot higher in August and November, which could be a good thing. More people are getting out there and making their voices heard on what they want to see their parks and recreation and their parks facilities looking like here in the township. So for this next table here, we saw this one last year when we also had the full mill projected out in there, and I used basically the same data points, but just plugging in half mill versus a quarter of a mill. This is assuming a residential taxable growth rate of 4.35%, which has been the historical average since 2016, since the last 10-year millage period. So at a quarter of a mill, that would be projected to bring in roughly $6.1 million. And obviously for a half of a mill, you would just double that. This would be over the next 10-year period, $12.2 million for a half mill. So for a quarter mill millage, that's $6.1 million. Primarily, we would just be focusing on those essentials again, right? We're kind of trimming back that desirable list just strictly to essentials. And that would be taking care of some items some long-term maintenance items that still need to be taken care of at the park, replacing the irrigation system for the soccer fields, a new roof on one of the pavilions. We hear a lot from all the softball tournaments and baseball tournaments about how they wish they had, some safety netting. In the quad formats that we have, you do get a lot of foul balls going over, into crowds. So making some updates to some safety netting would be a priority on that list. Our maintenance crew out there, we do really need to think about building some material bins, some cold storage for field materials, topsoil, gravel, anything else we need out there. On that list, we still have to make some upgrades to a few of the fields with bleachers, dugout pads. I spoke earlier how we had replaced some backstop fencing, but we still have some fencing along the baselines and the outfields that is kind of reaching its end of its life cycle that need to be replaced. The tractor is getting up there in age. We also have a few UTVs, utility vehicles, that we would need to replace as well. This would also include we've talked about how we needed another restroom facility on the north side of the park up near the soccer fields to handle soccer fields, lacrosse tournaments, all of that. Obviously, if we were going to do that, we need to find some sort of a solution again for the sanitary sewer, whether that is running gravity main throughout the park, a combination of pump systems, whatever that may be. I don't think we want to get back in the habit of putting septic fields out there again. We do have a couple septic tanks and fields out there that are probably a little undersized for our current usage. So a big part of a quarter of a mill would be utilized to look at the sanitary sewer system at the park to meet our capacity needs.
Yeah, Mr. Kimmer.
Sure.
So with this, .25, with this scenario, with these items, does it leave any funds, do you predict, for setting aside for matching any kind of grant that we'd want to go after?
Not much. With this list right here, we may be able to allocate maybe $50,000 to $100,000 a year in matching grant funds. Obviously, we could. Not all of these projects would have to be done strictly with millage funds. We could utilize grant funds to partner up and utilize for some of these projects, maybe, funding it at 25% or matching 50%, whatever that may be. So this list right here is just strictly our best estimate of what these would cost as is, but we could find some room for some matching grant funds. And then if we were to go to a half mil, this is where we're getting into a little more of the desirable list, but not the big pipe dream list that we had earlier on with amphitheater, splash pad, paving the road through the park. So this list here, we would look at adding some road and trail lighting throughout the park, not necessarily paving the road, but adding lighting for enhanced safety measures at the park. We've thought about, automating the park gates there, which would reduce staffing costs a little bit from having someone there to close the park every single night or having a police officer show up to close the park. We could automate those park gates. We have a lot of citizens in the community, in the surrounding community, that utilize the dog park out at Creasy Bicentennial Park. We would look to, make some significant updates to the dog park out there as well. We could even explore adding lights for 4 of our softball fields to bring in more tournaments and adult softball leagues, baseball leagues, whatever, market that a little bit more to bring in some more revenue in the evening. And this half mil, this would obviously allow us to have more matching grant funds available at our exposure there. So there are a few more items that we could get done if we were to go the half mil route as well. And so I just wanted to circle back and go back to the community survey that we had completed in 2024. The 2 questions we had out there: would you support a renewal at 0.25 mils? This one, 74% of the respondents said yes. The next slide here, we had, would you support a full mill? And although the community survey said, 57% said yes, obviously the vote came back not quite saying that. And, there's no doubt some things have changed. Some economic conditions may have changed for some individuals. So to just give you guys a sense there, 74% for a quarter mil, 57% for a full mil. So if we were to do a half, maybe we're hitting somewhere in the middle there. And so again, just to summarize this all up, for the essential improvements, we've estimated about $5 to $6 billion worth of that list for improvements. For the additional improvements, which would get done with that half mil, that brings you up to around 12 million total. And based on the 2025 median taxable value of $109,905, the average household would pay $27.48 a year under the quarter mil and $54.96 a year under the half mil. These are the same statistics that I showed you last go around, because the 2026 numbers won't be out until border review is completed. So that would be somewhere around April 1st that I could have updated numbers for you. So again, tonight's just kind of throwing it out there, get you guys thinking about it a little bit. A decision doesn't have to be made tonight, but I'm here to take any questions that you guys might have.
So just dispel some misnomers with regard to the millage that we had for the parks. That's been used for capital improvements at the park, the
Correct.
millage. So as far as any claims for it being used for other stuff or
No.
being replaced or whatever, not true.
Right. It's been capital improvements. With this with the next millage, we could write the ballot language to also include operational costs, maintenance costs, where we could utilize those to offset some of the costs within the Parks and Recreation budget, which would therefore reduce the general fund contribution to the park, so that Parks and Recreation becomes a little more self-sustaining with the millage.
Mr. Fike?
Matt, at what point do we run out of money? When is this millage done, the current one?
The millage expired December 31st of 2025. So we collected on the winter tax bill in 2025 for the last time. Now, that millage funds a portion of the Parks and Rec budget for 2026, for the current year. But as of now, we don't have a millage that is active to fund a portion of the 2027 budget for Parks and Recreation.
And on these 3 dates, May, August, November, for the voting, would it help you if it's earlier? I mean, you know where I'm going with that? As far as funds, I mean, if you're out of money now, I mean, you're not getting any new.
Well, we wouldn't collect, no, whether the millage was voted on in May, August, or November, we wouldn't collect on that until the winter tax bill of 2026. So even if it was approved in May, we couldn't collect in June and fund for next year. That wouldn't be collected until December, January, February 27.
Okay. Mr. White?
I don't support doing it in May. If we're going to pay the cost of an election, it seems ludicrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just, if everyone's agreement on that, we can at least knock that off.
I would concur. I'd rather have it either August or November, but I'd prefer August just for timing's sake, but
Okay, yep, I
I don't know
can,
where everybody else is at on it, but
That sounds good. I would support August.
okay, I'll bring it back in a couple of months. We'll prepare some ballot language depending on what millage rate we want to go with, and we'll go from there. And if August is the choice, we'll meet the deadline to file for August.
any thoughts on it from anybody on any additional? Okay. All right,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, with that, moving on to new business, the board will consider a motion to approve Resolution 2601, that, which adopts the special assessment role for the Village Green Special Assessment District. Okay, does anybody have any concerns, questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion then to move forward with the special assessment.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay, supported by Ms. Hugo. Motion by Mr. Yancho.
Motion by Yancho, supported by Hugo on item 9A. Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. 6-0. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item B, the board will consider a motion to approve resolution number 2602 for a special charitable liquor license for the YMCA of Greater Flint at Camp Copenhagen on February 28, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And this is something that is fairly standard that we do occasionally. Motion by Mr. Fike, support by Mr. White.
Motion by Fike, supported by White.
Do you have a comment, Mr. Limita? Or-
Nope, this is just the same standard you see from other fundraisers that come before the board periodically, and it's, obviously from a administration standpoint, we support it.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
6-0. Motion passes.
Item C, the board will consider a motion to approve Resolution 2603 to adopt the poverty exemption income guidelines and asset test for 2026. Mr. Limita?
This is, comes before you every year, has to be adopted by the board to go along with the federal poverty income levels and guidelines, so people have the ability, who have issues with being able to afford their property taxes and be able to appeal to the assessing department. Our Director of Assessing, Danielle Pastu, is here and happy to answer any questions you may have about how those levels are set or what we did. And we went through a complete review of this a couple of years ago, Danny, I think, and try to come up and make sure that we're being fair and that we're following the income guidelines.
I believe we changed at the end of 2024, effective for the 2025 tax year.
Okay.
So it just offers different opportunities at different income levels above the federal poverty limit.
Okay. Any questions for Ms.
Is the motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
Pastu? I keep thinking Harrington, but yes,
Motion in order.
yes, it
I
is.
will make that motion on item 9C.
Support it.
Supported by Bennett. Very good. Trustee White?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
So, Ms. Harrington, I want to help people with their township trivia, but I was in the assessing office, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and they told me how many houses they inspected this past year, and I was floored by the number. But I think it was, I think it was around 3,000.
Close to it with new construction and things like that, yeah.
So our assessing team inspected 3,000 homes and buildings this past year, so it's an incredible number. And especially on days like we're having right now, right? Out there looking at houses. Okay, item D, the board will consider a motion to accept trustee Damon Brown's resignation letter from Grand Lake Township Board of Trustees effective January 1st, 2026. We read this at the last meeting. Mr. Fike, you making that motion?
Make a motion.
Supported by Ms. Hugo.
Motion by Fike, supported by Hugo. Let's see, Trustee White?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item E, the board will consider a motion to approve an auditing services contract with Plant Moran for an independent financial audit for fiscal years 2025 through 2027. Ms. Olstak, our finance director. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. As you all are aware, we are required by the state to have an annual financial audit just to ensure the integrity of our record keeping and our financial reporting, and to ensure that our financial statements are stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And we've used the same firm for the last, and this firm has to be an independent certified public accounting firm. We've used the same firm for approximately the last 35 years. So this past fall, we decided that just to ensure that we are getting the best bang for our buck and we're paying appropriate for these services, we decided to go out for bid for this, and we received 7 responses back. After a thorough review of myself, the superintendent, and the assistant finance director, we did decide to remain with Plant Moran. We feel that they are specialists in governmental assurance services, and they bring a wealth of experience and seem to meet the needs of the township. We are receiving this at a base fee. This, for the 2025 audit, would be $86,800. There would be additional charges for if we were to have additional services, such as if we were to need a single audit. We rarely need those. Occasionally, if we exceed the threshold, just went up to $1 million. So if we were to receive federal funds in excess of $1 million, we would need a single audit. Or if there were anything outside of the scope of services. But if that was needed, we would negotiate a fee at that point in time. So we did decide, like I said, to go with Plant Moran based upon that, and it will be a savings. Last year, from the fees that we paid last year of approximately $38,000, unless we were to need additional services. And we do have Keith Szymanski here from Plant Moran. He'd like to make a brief statement to the board, too.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Olstak. Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to I'll keep my comments brief, but I wanted to express my gratitude for the opportunity to be here this evening. Plant Moran is consistently ranked among one of the best companies to work for throughout the country and in the local areas in which we work. And a big part of that is our culture, so that's centered around doing good work for good clients. And Grand Blanc Township certainly fits that profile of the type of entity we want to work with. For your professionalism, the respect with which you treat our team, and the simple fact that our team enjoys working with the township. So for that reason, as we were working on putting together our proposal, I spoke with many members of firm leadership. They were unanimous in the support of putting together a competitive proposal in order to extend our relationship with the township. So should we be retained this evening, I'm excited to get to work along with the rest of the team in providing the high level of service that the township should expect from Plant Moran.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much, and we appreciate the work you do with our finance people. Mr. Lehman, what is the award that we've received numerous years now for our financial reporting? Is it the general?
The GFOA Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting we've received every year, and Plant Moran actually helps us with that application as well. But it really highlights the fact that our finance director, Kathy Sostak, and her team, year after year after year, continues to do the right things for the township. And again, working with Plant Moran they've really been here for 35 years, kind of laughing about it because you guys are used to seeing Dave Helisek here. Dave retired last year. He told us that on his first year with Plant Moran, he got assigned to Grand Blanc Township, and he stayed with us until he retired last year. So we were not unhappy with the services, and I want to be very clear about that with Plant Moran. They have been fantastic to work with. We just went out for competitive bids because it had been 35 years, and again, to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the township, no different than we did with legal services a couple years before. We did it. We're going to look at engineering services as well, just to make sure that we're doing the right thing for taxpayers' funds. But, I'm really glad it came back to Keith, and we had a couple of meetings with Keith. We had 7 competitive bids come in, just so you know, and we had narrowed it down to 2 that we did interviews with and bounced back and did additional interviews with Keith, and we're really happy to make the recommendation. I support Kathy's recommendation on this to, again, sign a 3-year contract with Plant Moran to move forward. And I'm glad you brought that up because I always like to have the opportunity when Kathy is here as finance director to again highlight the fact that every single year Grand Blanc Township is recognized for excellence in financial reporting.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Support.
By Mr. Fike.
Supported by Fike on item 9E. Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item F, the board will consider a motion to approve resolution number 2604, data center moratorium. And this has been a hot button issue around the state, if not around the country, even locally in our region. And we have Mr. Chubb, who has brought us this resolution. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, so I recommended this resolution for a moratorium, and the time that a moratorium is proper is when you recognize that there are new uses coming into communities such as ours, but the zoning ordinance simply doesn't address it. It wasn't something that was contemplated when our zoning ordinance was last updated because it wasn't a use. And so the problem is that when you get in an application, if it's not identified within your zoning ordinance, it can, frankly, what's happened in other communities around the state is they're stuck with it. And that's what we don't want to happen. We want to be very careful with them. There's a lot of concern about data centers, specifically the amount of energy and water that they use. And the combination of using those resources but not creating many jobs means that it impairs other potential developments from coming in because of it limits the water that they can use or the electricity that they can use, and it's potentially not the best use of our water and electricity. And so what the moratorium does is it simply We will reject any and all applications during the moratorium period. I'm reviewing them until the moratorium is over. It's for a period of 1 year unless it's extended or shortened by this board. And during that period, Jeremy and I and Dennis, everyone relevant to the review, will go through the zoning ordinance and figure out the best way to address this and determine if there is a feasible location for them within the community, and then redo the ordinance however is necessary to make sure that it's limited to that use.
Mr. Fike?
So have any data centers, Dennis, approached us?
Not officially, we haven't had anything. There was one engineering firm that said they were working with somebody who represented a data center, but it hasn't like come to us as a viable project or anything like that. You have seen a lot of the controversy all over the state with data centers and people concerned because it is a major factor in the drain on utilities, obviously. The other thing is that data centers don't necessarily create a lot of jobs. They create taxable value, so there's benefits to data centers. And obviously, with all of us and the amount of data every year goes up and up and up, and we've all got our phones in our hands, half the day and whatever. We need data centers out there. But it's just making sure we take a look at it and get them into an appropriate place. We were also approached by Giffords Webster, our planning consultants. They are working on zoning for data centers for many of their clients, and they have been putting together information for us as well so that we can move this project along. The moratorium is for 12 months. If we found that we were able to come to terms with it, the planning commission's comfortable and they present to the board and you guys are comfortable, it doesn't have to go the full 12 months. We could move it sooner, but we do recommend it because it's better to have it as a studied zoning use, and we put the right rules in place and we put the right locations in place before we are approached with an actual project.
Mr. White?
I still have a couple of questions. I think there's been a lot of misinformation about data centers, especially on social media. And I'm concerned about that. So I think if we're approached by a data center, we shouldn't just go by what's being said. We should go visit a data center to find out, all right, jurisdiction, what's the deal? Does it make noise? Does it drain all your water? What kind of taxes does it provide? I think we're going on the public sentiment right now, that it seems to be data centers have gotten a dirty, people don't like them, especially in public forums. People are fighting them. And I say there is another side to that story that we shouldn't, totally eliminate. I get it. There's certain places in this township where I would be absolutely against them going. But I don't think we should just say to data centers in general, don't even think about it for a year because we don't want you. I don't know that that's the best idea. I hear where you're going with this legally, but I think before we say we don't want them, we ought to examine in person, all right, what are we talking about here? What are these things? What do they look like?
That's the idea behind this. We aren't saying no to them. What we're saying is we need to study this before we have proposals coming to us so that when they come to us, we can say, oh yeah, we have a place for that, or here's the limitations on what we would allow. And so we don't have any of that in place right now. And so I don't think anybody here, when you say you're against them, I think you're talking in general, the public.
Right.
But this board has not taken a position on them that I'm even aware of. But I think all this it does is buy us some time to get prepared in the event that one, may never come, but it's, better be prepared. Our effort here as a board is to look out ahead and be prepared for things that may come to us. And this one has just caused a lot of controversy in other communities that we want to avert if at all possible. Right, Mr. Chubb?
Yeah, and that's really the intent. The 12 months is just figuring a reasonable amount of time to conduct a real deep dive into all the factors that you just talked about and the concerns that we've raised. These are I'm general counsel for the city of Saline. A lot of people have heard about Saline Township and everything that's happened there. It's been a huge legal fight. It threatens the financial viability of the township. Again, I represent the city, but, and so that's certainly the concern. And the big, like, from a theoretical standpoint, again, we're taking the time to do the investigation, but my concern would be like, if one popped up tomorrow with an application and wanted to go into Tech Village, and they went in and they took all of the power that consumers could allocate there and all of the water and/or all the water usage, then we have a whole master plan for that area, and suddenly none of the other development can happen because it's used all those resources. We don't know if that's the ultimate end result of our investigation, but those are the kind of concerns when they raise that and the potential to decimate what is a really long-term plan. That's when you put in the moratorium, just to make sure it's not forced on the township, and we can do it on our own guidelines after we properly, vet them out.
So if a data center came and said what you said, I want to go into Tech Village, couldn't we say, no, you can't, you don't fit what we've got designed for that? I mean, we would vote against that.
Because they're not enumerated in the zoning ordinance right now, it would be very difficult to do that. That's the concern.
Okay.
So what would be the height of the building that would be allowed? What's the setback from any residential areas? Are there decibels that we should be concerned with? Are there, like, we don't have any of that built into our zoning ordinance right now, because they weren't considered when we did the update to the master plan. So those are some of the things when you look at what's allowed and what happens during a site plan review. Somebody comes in and we've built all those in so that you don't get some of those, I mean, if you look at anything, it could be used car lots, in a residential area. I mean, it's a reason we have the zoning rules in place. So we just don't have anything on data centers yet to protect the integrity of the residential neighborhoods even around it at this point.
Well, I will support this, but under the caveat that we'll follow through over the next year. We got to have a plan. We got to examine this. We need parameters, and then.
That's why I mentioned Giffords Webster. Our planning consultants are already putting information together for us now to go to the planning commission for consideration.
Mr. White?
I was going to make the motion to
Okay.
approve the motion as Resolution 2604.
Support.
Okay. Support by Mr. Yancho.
Motion by White, supported by Yancho on item 9F.
Let me just make a comment.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes. So, this in no way, shape, or form says whether we're for it or against it. It basically is, let's study the issue, and I think that's what we're going to do. So, could take 6 months, could take 6 weeks, but we want to give our planning commission time to review the information that they're assembling and our consultant is assembling.
Very good.
Go ahead, Mr. Robertson.
With the roll call, on 9F, myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item G, the board will consider a motion to approve the purchase of a Ford meter box company water meter test bench from Ferguson Waterworks for $38,550 and authorize the township superintendent to execute all related documents and purchase orders. Mr. Boggs?
Good evening, everyone. Part of the new DPW building, we have some owner-furnished items, and this was one that we designed the water meter room to have a new test bench. This is allow us to check water meters make sure they're running at their AWWA standard efficiency. So, based for that said, when water meters we're in the middle of a replacement project, but we're not replacing all our meters. There's still existing meters in there. So, meters have a tendency, when they get old, they'll run slow, allowing us to lose revenue because we're not collecting all the water going through them. This allow us to determine if these meters are still efficient. So,
Mr. Yancho?
So, the meters that will be tested using this equipment will be residential size or commercial size or all sizes?
It'll be up to 2-inch.
Okay.
2-inch we can do in-house.
And if we were to replace all the 2-inch meters, how much does a meter cost?
It's based on the side. I couldn't give you that number off the top of my head right now on a 2-inch meter. I think it might be around $1,300 off the top of my head. I have to look at the pricing on it.
We're going through we're replacing the older meters right now.
Correct.
We have a meter replacement program.
Up to a certain date and age.
Okay, well, what we need to do too is we need to have our board, Mr. Lehman and I were talking about taking a tour through the DPW building
Absolutely.
and the new fire station and take a look at it, the new doors around the building.
Coming along.
But I have seen the room where the meter testing will take place and nice facility. So I'll make the motion that we purchase the water meeting, the Ford, what is the proper name? Ford Meter Box Company Water Test Bench.
Support.
Support by Ms. Hugo.
Support by Ms. Hugo. Okay. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. 6-0. Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Item H, the board will consider a motion to approve the invoice in the amount of $12,823.91 from Ram Air Gear Dryer for the purchase of a 6-place heated air turnout gear dryer for Fire Station Number 1 and authorize the Township Superintendent to execute all related documents. Chief Jen?
Yes, this turnout dryer will allow us to get our gear in service much faster once it's washed after every fire incident. As you know, our fire gear has to be washed every time we have a fire to limit the exposure to cancer-causing chemicals.
Very good. Mr. White?
I just have a question. Do we have one of these in place at the current fire station, number 1?
Not this exact model, no. We have a homemade one that we've been using.
Is that the same for, and I'll just jump ahead, is that the same for the next thing on the agenda too, the cylinder holder?
No, this is a new item that we'll be purchasing, the rack holder and the
We don't have
drying
one.
purchase. We do not.
Is a motion in order, Mr. Smith?
Ms. Hugo?
Motion.
Okay, Ms. Hugo makes the motion,
Okay, motion by Hugo. Support.
support by Mr. Yancho.
Supported by Yancho on item 9H. Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
6-0. Motion passes.
Item I, the board will consider a motion to approve the invoice in the amount of $9,522 from Gear Grid Corporation for the purchase of an SCBA cylinder holder and mobile hose drying rack for Fire Station Number 1, and authorize the Township Superintendent to execute all related documents.
This SCBA cylinder holder will enable us to secure our spare SCBA bottles in a much more secure fashion than they currently are. And the mobile hose dryer will allow us to get our hose back in service after a fire incident. Once it's washed, we're going to be able to dry it and get it right back on the truck.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? I'll make the motion that we move forward on the purchase.
Motion by Bennett.
Support.
Support by Mr. Yancho.
Supported by Yancho. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
6-0. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
If I could, I'd like to address Treasurer Gancho's question about the business licenses.
Yes.
Fire Marshal Keller's been very happy with the way those are coming in, the format that they've been received. We've been able to update quite a few of our businesses that are in our database right now with new owners, as well as when we go out and do these inspections, we're going to be able to roll these new business licenses into our current database. And every time we go out on an inspection, we do note all the utility shutoffs and stuff like that.
Great.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, future agenda items. Mr. Lemata?
Get back on track with, like we did this evening with the strategic planning. Again, business licensing and offshoot of the 2021 through 2025 strategic plan, and it took a while to get the software and everything in place, as well as the program. Assistant Superintendent Kimmer spent a couple years on that project, and we're finally seeing it come to fruition. I really appreciate what Chief Gent had to say, because I know the clerk's office reluctantly agreed to be the repository of the business licensing program for the township. And it's obviously not without controversy. I have spoken with a few business owners who were a little frustrated. In fact, one gentleman said that he just sees it as another tax, but it's a $60 fee. It's not even cost recovery. If we really did a cost of service and did a cost recovery on it, $60 doesn't necessarily cover our costs for doing the inspections and everything, but you heard from Chief Gent already the benefit that we're seeing from this, because it does allow us to update that information. The same thing goes for Chief Rennie for PD. If we had a break-in overnight or something were to occur, we need to have that contact information. And I know from a prior community that I was with, the importance for our fire department and the safety of our firefighters, knowing what's in that business. And right now, we can have businesses that change out. The landlords rent to somebody new. We don't have any idea, and it impacts everything from police department, fire department, our contact information. It can impact, the DPW as well, because it has to do with how much water they use, what meters they need. It impacts the county. So there's just a lot of really good reasons. And for the $60 is a small price to make sure that we do stay current. It also gives us a little bit of the ability to force the hand for some of the landlords who may own a lot of properties, just to work with them to remind them that it's important as they're signing a lease with somebody that they inform them that they want to make sure that they stay up to date with the business license for Grambling Township.
Right. Okay, Planning Commission, anything, Ms. Hugo?
No, I was not at the last meeting. I caught one of the lovely viruses going around. The next meeting is the 5th of February.
White, anything zoning?
Just a brief comment on the Clinton Genesee County Strategic Trails Plan. I had the weekend to go through this, and I like how the plan identified its top priority as connectivity, and yet completely neglected the only gap in a 20-mile sidewalk stretch on Saginaw Street in Grand Blanc Township. Was not mentioned one time at all. Sort of belies the idea that connectivity on the most famous road in this area is actually important. Seems to be prioritizing people to give a place to ride their bikes for fun, as opposed to actually having any public safety utility. I mean, we have 2 county commissioners representing our township. Do they actually pay attention when they drive down Saginaw Street? Because I live right next to Saginaw Street, and I see people riding their bikes the wrong way up a hill on Saginaw Street on a 5-lane highway. How nobody's gotten ran over or killed on where there's blind spots is frankly, it's luck. It's pure luck. And every year we roll the dice with this. And when we prioritize people's pleasure over people's safety, I really question what the county is actually doing on this.
How
long of a stretch is
I was going to comment on the plan in my report, but because actually I had a meeting on that plan today, but I'll cover that in a little bit. But there is some plan, I believe, for Saginaw Street. It's not immediate, but over the next, over the next 2 years, $20 million will be spent on pathways and sidewalks in Genesee County on this. Over the next 5 years, we're looking at $80 million. Much of that will be grants. It'll be from DNR, what have you. But I think what we should do is actually invite in the Genesee County Planning. There's actually a person that, I'm not sure if it's a Mott Foundation, but they've hired a person specifically just for this plan, but I'd like to have her come in and actually make a presentation so that, Mr. White, your concerns and any others, but I think what we want to do is really look specifically at the timeline for each phase of it, but there's several phases to it. The yellow highlight is what is going to happen this year and next, and then red and so on and so forth. But I understand your concern and share that.
Yeah.
The benefit, if we continued at the pace that we currently are in Genesee County with building trails, it would take us 70 years to be able to basically complete what you're seeing in that plan. Under this, we're looking at hopefully in the next 5 years, I believe, to 10 years, that it'll be completed. But, you know, some of the pathways that are kind of amazing is connecting all the way from downtown Flint out to downtown Fenton, coming through Grand Blanc Township. So there are some things I was surprised about that they see as a priority. But let's have the county come in and do a presentation on that, Mr. White, and we can voice our concerns for any areas that they're lacking in it, including to our county commissioners as well. So let's have them come in and do that. Mr. Lehman?
Supervisor Bennett and I were at one of the planning sessions that brought this together. And I can tell you, Trustee White, that it was brought up by multiple people, at least with the group that I was working with at the time. And we did breakout groups, and it was highlighted, but it didn't necessarily end up after everything was vetted through on being, you know, the number one priority. We certainly prioritized it in the group that I was working with on showing the connectivity issues, because it was one of the things that we raised. You could really use sidewalks all the way from downtown Flint through Burton, and it ends when you hit Maple Road, and you can't get the rest of the way, even though there's a pretty big population center right here on the north end of our township.
So I've got to take another look at the map too, because the plan is to connect up through Burton, and I'm not sure right off.
Showing it on that corridor, coming downhill and going up through the utility corridor.
Yeah, the Iron Bell Trail is priority to come through Grand Blanc, and I'll be glad to look at it with you.
I still don't see how that impacts the fact that Saginaw Street is the main street of transportation in and out of the community.
Right.
We're saying, well, but yeah, but if you just ride your bike a mile and a half this way and then zigzag around, you can connect back up 5 miles later. It doesn't seem like a feasible strategy when I see the disabled people struggling to hoof their bikes up that hill. I still don't know how anybody hasn't gotten killed, and maybe I'm mistaken, maybe someone has over here.
With the plan, I don't have the numbers here, but the goal, or the plan, if when completed, will put majority of the residents in Genesee County within a 20-minute walk of any of these pathways. The idea is to have a hub and spoke type of pathway plan that basically anywhere you're at in Genesee County, that the goal is to get everybody to be able to have a hub and spoke where they leads into the state park in downtown Flint is the end destination. Yes.
Is there somebody in charge of this, implementing this?
County planning.
So can we tell them, like you say?
Yeah, well,
hey,
my goal would be to have them come out there. Right now, the plan is in the comment stage. And so we're going to actually put it out on our social media for public comment. I would encourage, public to comment on what's lacking in it. And it's not the formalized plan yet. This is just the comment period. And so anyways, I had it in my discussion notes tonight. Today, we actually received the first presentation of it with the road commission. And so actually Genesee County Planning is the one that's heading this up. And like I said, they've hired somebody whose sole responsibility is this plan and getting it implemented. Okay. All right. Joel, anything with Metro Alliance?
No, but I did have a question.
Sure.
I just wanted to follow up on what that Dr. Hendricks said, since the chief is here.
With regard to?
The cameras.
Flock cameras.
Flock cameras. She was saying there was a concern with privacy and that data is being shared and they're used to track women. Is that accurate?
So for Grand Blanc Township, we have certain policies on the use of our flock cameras. So I know that there's some conversations going around the country about flock cameras. My stance is that this township does not utilize them like that. It has a very good audit trail on what our officers are doing, and actually, we have used them to apprehend criminals. We've solved drive-by shootings. We solved armed robberies with those cameras, so they're very beneficial to us.
So, Chief, one of the things that people probably are familiar with, or more probably are familiar with, is the lean system. In the past, the concern was that if a police officer's behind you, they're punching in your your license plate and saying, oh, that's where that person lives. It doesn't work that way anymore, that if somebody punches in a license plate into lien to find out the information about them, there's an audit trail, and there has to be a specific reason for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that Dr. Hendricks had mentioned is that flat cameras follow people. That is absolutely not true. Flat cameras follow vehicles. So if a vehicle passes by that camera, it will capture an image of the vehicle and the license plate. It does not capture images of people inside that vehicle.
So just like the lien system.
And it's open to the public, so.
Just like a lien system would track anybody who puts in a license plate to find out details, it's audited in terms of.
Who searches it,
What was
yes.
the reason has to be in there.
Absolutely.
And so if somebody has a concern that they were put into lien, that, hey, that my license plate was looked up, the chief can actually go in there and look up who looked up that license and what the purpose was for, or if it was may not even been looked up, but the person's claiming that they thought that was. Same with the flat cameras, that there's an audit trail.
Yep.
That if there's any issue of it being misused, it can be tracked in terms of audits on that.
That's correct, yes.
How many flat cameras do we have?
We have 20 throughout the township.
You've
drive
heard these
between here and Florida.
Allegations of,
Do we have we had allegations? No.
of
We have,
privacy concern.
we have not had any of that through the township, no.
If you get on and off I-75 anywhere in Genesee County at a minimum, you're going to see them on every entrance and exit ramp.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
With that, Mr. Yancho?
Treasury Department and staff have been very busy collecting utility bills. It's that time of the year. So we're collecting utility bills as well as property taxes.
Well, thank you. Clerk Robertson, anything?
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay. Just a couple of items. I was going to touch on the trail plan, and Mr. White, thank you for bringing that up, and we will have a presentation, and we'll also have it on social media for public comment. We have a board position that, as we all know, that's open. We have received a number of responses for the position in terms of applications. That application is on our website, and encourage anybody who's interested to go ahead and fill that out. I think we put a deadline of later this month. The deadline's on there. I think it's possibly this Friday, but anyways, it's on the website if anybody's interested. What else?
One question about that. Then what
Yes.
happens after the names are in?
What happens is then they come to the board, and we typically have had those go to anybody that wants to pick the top. I think the last time what we did was we picked the top two from each of us, and we talked with Mr. Chubb, and Mr. Chubb basically reported to us what the top two candidates were after talking with each of us, and those top two were brought to us for an interview.
Okay.
And if everybody's okay with doing that again,
I think we did 3.
was it 3?
It was 3, but one was out of the country.
Okay, we can go with the top 3 then.
Seems
Top
fair.
3, yeah, top 3, and go from there.
It's a lengthy
Application.
application, that's what I
It's the same one we used last time. So it
comprehensive.
doesn't leave too many stones unturned. We have that. Just an update on strategic planning. We have had quite a few meetings, actually, between our last board meeting and this one with regard to strategic planning on fire. And we've had a couple with involving our chief and firefighters, fire union. But we've also had a number of meetings with other municipalities in our area and talking about if there are any ways to collaborate and work together. And while I can't really comment tonight on where we're at with that, I can tell you that there is a possibility of us bringing some proposal to the board to talk about maybe taking a deeper look in terms of a study or something along those lines in the near future. So I think my impression and the communication I've had with those involved, the firefighters, what have you, that they felt as though we're making some progress with some discussions on really what we're looking at is what are all the potential possibilities for service delivery, for improved outcomes, and all the possible ways that can happen. And so we're exploring those. We don't want to make this a study that lasts forever, so we're moving quickly. As I mentioned, we even had a meeting on Saturday, Mr. Lehman and I, and several others. So this is something that we're working on. Clerk Robertson, Treasurer Yancho have been a part of a number of those meetings. And so hopefully, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we will have something to bring back to the board to talk about in greater detail. Mr. Lehman, anything to add to that?
No, I think it's been good communication, a lot of good resource and data brought from the firefighters themselves with the task force of the board officers, executive officers, the meetings that we've had with our neighbors and just kind of like regional meetings have been good because we share a lot of the same issues, same problems, obviously funding. And just to talk about how different ways to fund and different ways they operate, and we're looking at shared services, and it's not just for fire, but it could be fire EMS, I mean, in a variety of other subjects that we're looking for regional cooperation. I'm really encouraged by what our neighbors have had to say, and it's been a good group with the chief elected official and the city managers. And I'm very encouraged on the direction we've taken so far, and then the direction with the task force itself.
I'm actually quite impressed with what the discussions have included, and with the level of effort to see what we can do to work collaboratively. So, and again, as Mr. Lehman has said, the input we received from firefighters, Chief Gent, what have you, has been very insightful. So. With that, Mr. Chubb, anything? Nothing. Okay. Mr. Lemata?
Nothing to add.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:26 PM.
Thank you.